What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. I'm your host, Mark Izzo, and alongside me, as always, is your other host, Dylan O'Brien. Dylan, what's going on?
Mark, great to be back on another episode of the pod. It's been a few weeks since I've had a new shirt. Still don't have a new one. Today I am rocking the Sami Zayn honorary Usto. One of my favorite purchases of recent memory. One of the best shirts that WWE has come out with in recent memory as well. Definitely want to get my hands on the new Island of Relevancy one with the painting of them all because that one's
Yeah.
super sick. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be back. Another episode of the podcast. It's super busy this time of year, man. Holidays, but we're still holidays. This isn't me and Mark's full-time job. We both have other jobs that we gotta attend to pay the bills and stuff that aren't quite as fun as this, but we're still coming out each week, making sure we get this content out for you guys. And hopefully, at the start of the new year, Mark's always grinding. Mark's always getting out more stuff, but hopefully as a collective, the Burning Hammer, you'll be seeing even more growth from us and more content from us on all platforms, being articles, being YouTube videos, being TikToks and whatnot. Just hope we can continue to grow with you guys, as this will probably be our last pod of this year. So, right? No? Oh, no,
We
we'll
got
do one more. My
one
bad.
more next week.
But anyway, excited to
Um,
be here. Back on another episode. Let's go. My beard looks crazy, dude. I got to shave.
Yeah, super pumped. And just a quick teaser for next week. We will be doing the Burning Hammer podcast end of year awards. We are waiting
Mhm.
till the very last week to do it. And just something to keep in mind is that our criteria is the entire year of 2022. I know some other companies, 6 months of 2021, the last 6 months of 2021, the first 6 months of 2022. Obviously, there's reasons for that. But ours is just going to be the entire 2022 year, and we are going to collaborate with the other members of the professional wrestling staff at Vendetta Sports Media, and
Absolutely.
we're going to give out some awards. I believe there's going to be about 10, so look forward for that
Yeah,
for
give
next
out
week.
some we're gonna give out some burnt hammers. And
Yeah.
the uh the other thing as well, we'll get this out of the way. The nominees are coming from WWE and AEW. Those are the two companies that we cover regularly enough to give you. Oh geez. How unprofessional of me. My phone is my ringer's on. But yeah, so we only cover those two companies. It's not that we don't watch anything at all from the other ones, but we don't watch it on a regular enough basis to we feel give a proper judgment of it. So most of our nominees are going to be coming from AEW and WWE. So just so you
Yeah,
guys know. Get that
we
out of the way now.
yeah, we could sit here and act like we pay close attention to other wrestling promotions, but we don't watch them as much as we would probably like to. The two main promotions that we really watch because we cover them is AEW and WWE, so that's why we're including those. In the future, we would like to expand out to the entire world, but for now, it's just the two of us, so we're
Yep.
just going to be sticking with AEW and WWE. And I'm also out of t-shirts, but I just wanted to give a shout out to this crew neck and to a local company out of Williamstown. We got the Purple Clothing Co.
Oh,
Little
nice.
crew
Yeah.
neck there. Um, Big supporter of the podcast. You can follow them on Instagram at purple.archives, based out of South Jersey. And they did just create a website, so definitely check that out and get yourself some purple clothes.
Yeah, man.
And before we jump into the podcast, make sure to follow us on all of our social media. We are posting a ton on there. So you can follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer. Again, that is on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Burning Hammer. We post a ton of stuff on there, breaking news, rumors, reports, fantasy stuff, anything and everything revolving professional wrestling. We post it on there. And the best way to get our initial reaction, and you hear and see me, Dylan.
Yes.
All right, I'm back. I don't even know what happened, but like I said, the best way to get our initial reactions on anything and everything in the professional wrestling world is to follow us on our social media. You can follow Dillon on Twitter and Instagram at DillO'Brien_wave. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MarkIzzo_wave. And me and Dillon, we write professional wrestling for Vendetta Sports Media. You can follow Vendetta on their Twitter at Vendetta VSM. Again, that is at Vendetta VSM for their Twitter. And on Instagram and TikTok, they are at Vendetta Sports Media. And make sure to visit vendettasportsmedia.com for not only professional wrestling, but for all of your sports needs. But me and Dillon do write articles there covering professional wrestling, whether it's news, rumors, reports, fantasy stuff, betting odds. We do previews and results and reviews for the AEW and WWE weekly shows. So definitely check out Vendetta Sports Media. To show the professional wrestling boys some love over there. All right. We got a few important things to take care of. Number one, we had another return, another stone that Triple H has in his fist.
Yeah, Mark is referring to the meme of Triple H's Thanos with all the faces returning.
That I
Sorry, you froze up again, but you're back.
Bronson Reed returned on Monday Night Raw. He helped The Miz take down Dexter Lumis and to gain a whole lot of cash. Dillon, what are your thoughts about Triple H bringing back another person?
Yeah, Bronson Reed, good for the company, like we were saying. Getting some Bronson Reed versus Otis action would be pretty fucking awesome. And yeah, I mean, it's a good addition to the company. I do think, depending on what direction it goes, looks like we could possibly begin a little feud between him and Dexter Lumis, possibly between him and The Miz versus Lumis and Gargano. So who knows which direction they're gonna go with that. But yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely a good addition to the company. Triple H is we're getting we're getting pretty full though. I feel like we're adding
Yeah,
a lot of people.
yeah. That's one thing about not only WWE but also AEWs. They both have pretty big rosters. Now WWE has significantly more television time than AEW, but they're gonna have to stop at some point because they can only hold so many people. But one thing I wanted to talk about is like I don't mind that he's bringing back all of these people because I do like Bronson Reed, but I think the way that he's been doing it isn't the best. Like, because these are mostly former NXT people or people who were barely on television on the main roster, and then he brings them back. Like everyone, like he's gonna get a big reaction for every single one, and like a lot of the times, I'm sure the fans don't really know who this person is. That's why you don't get
Yeah,
big reactions. We've seen it with Tegan Knox. We saw it with Bronson Reed. We've seen it with people before. So I just think maybe not just having them just suddenly return because a lot of people probably don't know who they are. So I think that could be something they should work on. I think it's something that they need to do a bit differently if they're going to bring back more people because they can't just assume that like everybody knows who this person is, especially if they spent most of their time in NXT
yeah. The
one or
more
2 years
casual
ago.
fans definitely don't aren't quite as versed in other companies outside of WWE.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely something that they need to work on. But we have another report from a match that is being planned for the Royal Rumble this year. Per WrestlingNews.co, WWE is planning on doing Edge versus Demon Balor in a Hell in the Cell match at the Royal Rumble. Um, we haven't seen Edge in a little bit. You know, he's starting to wrestle less these days. But what are your thoughts about this match if it goes down?
Yeah, man, fuck it. I'm for it. I was kind of over this feud, but I'd just been away for so long that it's whatever. That I feel like it's gotten like I'd be down for, especially for the return of Demon Balor. Like that would in this new Judgment Day, if we get like a purple and black demon, like that would be fucking awesome. Um
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
think
where we would go, is like a purple and black.
yeah, I completely agree. I don't think it's gonna be like, um,
And hopefully it's not a red cell.
yes,
I
I
don't
don't.
think it will.
I think
That was
they know
bad.
better.
I hated that, dude. I hated it so much.
Yeah. A lot of people did, and I don't think it's gonna be like he's gonna return as Demon Balor, and then it's gonna be like exactly how it was before. So I think it's gonna be a refresh on that sort of character. But people were saying possibly like Brood Edge versus Demon Balor could be cool.
Yeah.
Um, Regardless, it's definitely interesting and intriguing to say the least. Although if it does happen, it would. I'm guess I'm a little shocked that Edge wouldn't be in the actual Royal Rumble, but then again, he is also getting up in age, so it might be a
Yeah, and
little
he
harder
doesn't need
for
to
him.
win. He won recently and it didn't really work out the way they wanted it to. So, yeah, I think and I'm all for a Hell in a Cell match, especially if it's not going to be the red cage.
Yeah, we and they reported it I think a few weeks or maybe a few months ago that they were canceling the Hell in a Cell premium live event, which
Sweet.
is always good because it's just like a match stipulation that gets made into a show. So
Mhm.
maybe they'll do that more. Maybe they'll return the Money in the Bank match to WrestleMania.
That would
Who
be
knows?
awesome, dude. I just like want that to happen so fucking bad.
Yeah, I think we all can agree that it's something that definitely that they should change. And then lastly, the thing we're going to talk about before we get more into the Royal Rumble is that Dynamite. Tony Khan announced that AEW Dynamite is going to have a new look for next year. Their first show of 2023, they're going to have a new look. It's going to be interesting to see sort of how it all looks, what they're going to do differently. If I had to take a guess, I would probably bet they're going to do away with the two separate tunnels.
I think so too. Yeah. I think it's
Um,
time. I think
and
it's going to be a more WWE like presentation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking is like they're probably going to step it up a little bit more bigger budget, things like that. Um
Do you think they get rid of the metal guardrails and get
yes, that's
proper
I
barricades?
was I was just going to say that. I think that they are going to probably um I don't know if they're going to go right to like barricades, but I think they're going to go if there is a next step between metal guardrails and just like barricades, I think they're going to do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do just go right to barricades because that is if they we talked about it before how they're just like a completely different production from WWE. Obviously, WWE is just miles ahead of them for financial reasons, things like that, but I feel like there are some small things that AEW can do to sort of give themselves a bigger feel on screen. Now, I'm not saying they need to go out there and everything needs to have a screen, but I think they will make some updates, and I think it's something that they do need to do. And so I'm pretty excited to see how it's all going to look. It'll be their 1 year anniversary of moving to TBS. They were on TNT and then they moved to TBS with Dynamite, and Rampage is now on TNT. So I'm excited to see how it all plays out. So it's going to be interesting. But the next big pay-per-view or premium live event for AEW or WWE is the Royal Rumble, and we're going to discuss three things that we think need to happen at the Royal Rumble. Now, if you're following us on social media, you would have already seen the three things that I said need to happen. So that's why you got to make sure to follow us on social media, because you can get things early like this. I'm going to kick us off with one thing that I think needs to happen at the Royal Rumble. And I think that Charlotte Flair needs to return to WWE. We talked about it before, but the level that the Raw women's division is on and the level that the SmackDown women's division on is not the same at all. They are very uneven. And I think the SmackDown women's division needs a lot of help. And I think that I still believe that Charlotte Flair is going to be the person to win the SmackDown Women's Championship next. I've said it for a while. I think that the fact that they don't really have like a true number one contender for the SmackDown Women's title just goes to show like the lack of talent that they have in for the SmackDown Women's division. Now they did recently just add Tegan Nox, and Tegan Nox is awesome. She's extremely talented, but she's teaming up with Liv Morgan now, which is fine. I think they had a really good match against Damage Control on SmackDown. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but they need a little help in the SmackDown Women's division. I think Charlotte Flair needs to return. She needs to be the person to dethrone Ronda Rousey, and I think that's something that very realistically could happen.
Yeah, Mark, I think that's a really good point. The SmackDown Women's division really needs some help right now. Like they are truly lacking at a pretty high rate. Like you said, the return of Tegan Nox to WWE and now to the main roster on SmackDown. It does add another person, and it looks like we might be getting some more direction there. But we haven't had a proper star over there in a while. Bianca's on Raw, Becky's on Raw, and Rhea has really catapulted herself up into kind of that main event level. She is a former champion, but really her run with the Judgment Day has really she was, I don't know, we didn't talk about this, but Rhea was in, did you see the match? Rhea wrestled in a match with the men on Monday. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't watch it. I did hear about it, and
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. She was better than Dom would have been. But yeah, it's just Rhea is so I would say, but they're all basically what I'm trying to say is those three women, they're all on Raw, and those are like the
and
three.
Bailey.
Yeah, and Bailey. Sorry, coming over a cold. But SmackDown has just been really lacking. They put the title on Liv Morgan, and that was their chance to kind of catapult her and have another star on the SmackDown brand. And through poor booking with Ronda Rousey, they decided to ruin that. Then Liv Morgan is gonna have to build herself back up to the main event, status. So Charlotte Flair return, next level for the SmackDown Women's division. She's got the most title runs in WWE history for the women. So it's going to be huge if we can make that happen at Royal Rumble. And I think that's probably the perfect time. I really will. I'll get to my thing that has to happen at the Royal Rumble or whatever. It's kind of related to what you just said. And that is Charlotte Flair has to return, but Charlotte Flair cannot win the Royal Rumble. We cannot have Charlotte Flair win the Royal Rumble. She doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble. Recently, in the last few years, WWE has used the Royal Rumble, I believe, in a way that it was never intended, it has become something that it wasn't intended to become. The Royal Rumble is to, catapult people into the main event, use storylines. I'm not saying that it needs to be a shock win every year, but when we have time and time again having these legends kind of, and Charlotte Flair, it's not that she's not even out of her prime by any means, but she's already a legend. So I'm not going to compare it to the Edge win from a few years ago or the Batista win from when he came back, and then we had the WrestleMania, of course, at WrestleMania 30. I'm not gonna quite compare it to that, but Charlotte got a Royal Rumble win a few years ago. Has she won twice?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she has 2 Royal Rumble wins.
Yeah, so she doesn't need
And
a third.
because they
And
only when did they first start to do the Women's Rumble? In 2016, I wanna say?
yeah, I'm trying to think of who's won. Becky has won, Ronda has won, Bianca has won, Charlotte won twice. Has Asuka won?
Yeah, Oscar won.
Asuka and that's 6.
Yeah, I think it was in 2016 because that's when they started the women's revolution, and
Yeah.
that's where, like, they really started to change everything. Um, can't believe it took them that long, but
Yeah.
that's a
Has Sasha
discussion for
won?
another day. I don't think so.
Gotcha. That would be a crazy one this year. Sasha could come back and get the win. But anyway, where I'm trying to say with the Charlotte thing is that she can't win the Rumble this year because one, she doesn't need to. I mean, she's Charlotte Flair. She can work her way into a title picture just because of who she is. She's got the most title runs ever. Um and I really think that somebody else needs to win the Royal Rumble that isn't Charlotte Flair. We need the Charlotte Flair return, but she needs to not win. Um, because like I was saying with we saw before, and I'm not quite comparing it to that because it's not like it wouldn't quite be like the Edge or Batista return where they're coming back from like being away for so long. But you saw that like these kind of like legends come back, these like really high profile people come back, win the Rumble over some people that are currently hot, like Rhea, right? And then and it doesn't work because you saw it happen with Batista, and then things went south, and they put the title on Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania because they had no other choice. You saw what happened with Edge, you know what I mean, from a few years ago. And who did they end up putting the title on? Um, in the Edge match,
Um, I can't remember.
what was it? Edge, Seth, and someone, and Bryan. Might have been Bryan again.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I was Daniel Bryan again. Um, I don't know. It just I would love the return of Charlotte Flair, like I said, but I just don't want her to win the Rumble. I don't think she needs it, and I don't think it would benefit the booking.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Although I do think she is going to return in the Rumble match. Um, she does not need to win. Similar to The Rock, if he enters the men's match, he does not need to win. And you can build storylines in the Royal Rumble match. We've seen it time and time again. Um, I don't know how likely it's going to be if they have one of the women's main events titles in like a title match on the card. So maybe we'll get Ronda in the Rumble. Um, but if not, maybe Ronda could call Charlotte the Rumble match, even if she's not in the match. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. Or even if she just shows up like backstage or something and just doesn't even compete in the match. Charlotte Flair needs to return, but I agree she needs to not win the Royal Rumble match itself. And so for my second thing that needs to happen at the Royal Rumble is that Bray Wyatt needs to wrestle. He has captivated the WWE universe, wrestling fans all around the world. Everyone is talking about Bray Wyatt, and thus far he has been awesome, especially with LA Knight. All this stuff has been unreal. We just got our first glimpse of Uncle Howdy in person on SmackDown. But there's going to be a time where Bray Wyatt needs to wrestle. I don't think it's going to happen before the Royal Rumble. So I think it needs to happen at the Royal Rumble. And I think it should probably be against LA Knight. And I just think that he just has to wrestle. You know, he's going to have to wrestle eventually. I think it's going to be a sort of rare occurrence like we saw with The Fiend, which is perfectly fine because um, I feel like nowadays we get so much of a certain superstar just shoved down our throats. So I think it'll be nice to have something that's just like a rare occurrence. That way it always makes it feel special. But I do think he should wrestle at the Royal Rumble. I don't care who it's against, although it'll probably be against LA Knight. I just think Bray Wyatt should and needs to wrestle at the Royal Rumble, and I hope they just like let him wrestle and just it's not like a squash match.
Yeah, Mark, I couldn't agree more. Bray Wyatt really needs to get back in the ring. They've been slow burning this return for a while now. We were there the night he returned to the company. It was I'm literally looking at the ticket hanging up on my wall. Saturday, October 8th. You know what I mean? So it's been a while. It's now it's now almost Christmas, and Bray Wyatt has still yet to wrestle a match. We did have a pretty big development in that storyline the other day. With Uncle Howdy coming out, kind of tipping his cap or whatever, while Bray Wyatt was in the ring. So we saw that, I guess it's two different people. Bray Wyatt was not lying. Do you have any predictions on who Uncle Howdy might be?
I hate to be like to say the person that like everyone's saying, but I feel like it could be Bo Dallas.
Yeah, it feels like it could be, right? And they could build to Bo versus Uncle Howdy versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, which is like Bo Dallas versus Bray.
Yeah.
Which would
I
be
don't know
really
who else
cool.
it would be, like, unless it's just I don't. You think it could be Joey Gacy?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, what if it is Joe Gacy?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I can think if they brought up the schism. Um, and then yeah, it would be awesome if it was like all didn't turn into a thing and then it just turned into Bray Wyatt and Joe Gacy leading the schism together. On the main roster. I think that would be pretty fucking sick. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it turns out. I do think there is a decent chance that it's still Bray. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes zero sense.
It makes sense.
Um, but we still haven't seen the face, like still wearing the mask and shit. So I still think there's a decent chance that it could end up being that it is Bray and it's like a weird magic thing. I don't know. But yeah, that's a great. I couldn't agree more. Bray Wyatt's got to get back in the ring, man. It's been too long. Like I said, he's returned in the beginning of October. It's been far too long. So I really hope it does happen. I think it will. I think it feels like they're going that direction. And the next thing I was going to say that needs to happen at the Royal Rumble, we need the return of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. We need Cody Rhodes back in WWE, man. We've been doing this podcast this entire time, and it has been post Cody Rhodes return, but also post Cody Rhodes injury. So we have not covered WWE together with Cody Rhodes on the main roster active. And you know, dude, I'm really starting to itch for some Cody. I miss him, dude. Know what I was thinking the other day? Cody Rhodes has to return. He's got to return in the Rumble, man. Like and he's got to, in my opinion, probably win the Rumble. It's just he deserves that moment. And it's perfect. And then you know he really does deserve it. And there's no one who's a bigger star that kind of like defied the odds, you know, than him. You know what I mean? It really is kind of crazy, man. Like how he just generational, you know, brought up in wrestling and told by every single person in the company that he wasn't main event material and stuff, and then goes and bets on himself and creates his name. I'm just itching to get him back, itching for some Cody. So love to see the return of Cody.
Completely agree. And I think he has to win the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, he deserves it, man.
Definitely, he has to be the person to take the WWE Championship off of Roman, in my
Mhm.
opinion, at least. I still think that's what has to happen. And dude, I wrote, I'll spoil it, but I wrote an article about who should be number 30 or predicting number 30 in the Royal Rumble match for the men. And I did put Cody Rhodes. And I just said, just imagine 3, 2, 1. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Crowd goes nuts. I
Or
mean,
just
come on.
fucking
Pops up out of the thing.
rising up out of the thing. Fucking the American Nightmare. He's back.
Whoa!
Dude, yeah.
And I
I'm so
think
happy he has the song still.
yeah, what a great theme song.
Oh god, it's amazing.
I mean, we'll talk. I definitely wanted to talk about maybe in a future episode, or maybe we'll post it on social media, but just talking about the best theme songs.
Yeah, we got to do another one of them
Um,
drafts
yeah, we'll
probably.
do a draft. And we'll
Of
pick wrestling theme songs because there's
yeah,
a few good ones.
so many.
So, and I think the way that they could do it is he could return, and then as soon as he wins, I feel like he would just grab a mic and then he would just cut a little promo and then he would just be like, I'm not going to waste any time. I don't have to think about it. I'm challenging Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship, and just immediately challenges him following the match,
Yeah.
um, which I think would be sick. So that's a great, it's another thing that needs to happen. I completely
Yeah.
agree.
Hopefully they have Roman defend on both nights.
Yeah, and we talked about that last week, and I think that is, at least right now, that is, if they're not going to unify the title or the titles, that's the way that they need to get one
Yeah.
off. So, it's just how it has to be.
Yeah, and I really, really hope that they don't unify them and that's what they do. Because the roster's so big and there's 5 hours of TV wrestling. And 3 hours of Raw with no world title that I have to watch and grade every week, and it sucks. So I want a
Well,
fucking world title on Raw.
you don't think they would make another main event title?
I think it's possible.
I think if they unify them, they're gonna have to make
Oh
another
yeah,
main event title.
that's what you're saying?
I don't think they would unify them and then not make another
Gotcha.
title.
Yeah,
So,
maybe they'll do maybe they would unify them and then have Cody win the Rumble and go up against somebody to become like the first champion of the other one. Um
well, and I could also see them like maybe making a new title for Roman, still have the WWE Championship, but then present Roman with the brand new championship, because you still need a WWE like named championship belt.
no,
And so I,
totally.
I I think they could make a new title just for like Roman's sake. But give me more gold. Well, I think every championship needs gold on it.
Yeah.
I ranked every WWE title that's active in an article I think probably a few months ago by now. But one of the main things I said, and some of the titles that I graded lower, was like championships need gold.
Yeah.
Like that is like one of my like things that championships need. They have to be gold. And so I think they're like, if you look at the WWE and Universal Championship, like we've talked about it before, it's just a giant WWE logo. It is hideous, and there's barely any gold on it. It's just like on
Mhm.
the outline. So if they do it, they need it to be gold. And before I go, I just wanted to, have you been keeping up with like this this championship belt situation that's happening on social media with like Snoop Dogg?
Oh, like kinda.
It's odd. I don't know what it's
It's all
gonna
gonna lead
amount
to
to.
Snoop Dogg being the host of WrestleMania, and I guarantee you. And WrestleMania is gonna start with like Snoop Dogg running out, being like trying to find his belt, and he's probably gonna hit somebody with a move for his belt.
Probably a really awkward frog splash.
Yeah, like that's what I realized. Like it's like a gimmick thing that's all gonna lead to WrestleMania. It seems in
Yeah.
LA. which is
So
cool.
it's
Snoop
interesting.
Dogg's a good guy. I love Snoop. Love Snoop.
Yep.
Never get enough of that guy. So
And okay, I'm not saying that championship's good looking, but I do think it looks better than the
I like it.
WWE
I
titles.
don't mind it. Yeah, the all gold one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
not bad.
it's better than their
Yeah,
current championship belt, so
agreed.
that's all I'm gonna say about that. And so for my third thing, number 3 that needs to happen at the Royal Rumble is that the Bloodline, they have to turn on Sami Zayn. And
Mm.
they've been teasing it for a while. Royal Rumble is the start of the road to WrestleMania, and I think, at least in my opinion, I think the way that they're probably is likely they're going to do it is to have every member of the Bloodline in the Royal Rumble match besides Roman, and that's they're going to turn on Sammy in the Royal Rumble match itself, probably eliminating him, um, and then probably them just like beating the holy hell out of him outside of the ring. So I think that it's something they've been teasing for a while. It's gonna happen. I think the Bloodline needs to turn on Sammy. I know we talked about it before about Sammy turning on the Bloodline, but I think now it just makes
Nah,
more sense for the
no, now it
Bloodline to
makes
turn
more
on Sammy.
sense for them to turn on
Um,
Sammy.
and I think it needs to happen at the Rumble because, like I said, it's the start of the road to WrestleMania, and I think the Bloodline and the Sammy feud is going to probably come to an end at Mania. So I think that Bloodline needs to turn on Sami Zayn at the Royal Rumble and preferably in the Royal Rumble match.
Hmm. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it really feels like we're going the direction to where Sammy and KO are going to team up to take on the Usos for the titles at at WrestleMania. Which I'm all for. That is really feels like the direction we're going, and I'm all for that. Um, I really just want more than anything else. I kind of want some more direction in this storyline. More than anything else. If they don't quite turn on them, that's fine for me. But I need more direction on exactly where this is going to go. But I do think that they're probably going to end up turning on him at the Rumble. It just makes a lot of sense. We're still about like a month away from the Rumble, which is good because there's plenty of time to build up. And once we finally get there, it's going to feel like it's been a really long time since a pay per view, which it realistically has. It's been like 2 months since like a major thing is what it's going to be between the Rumble. So yeah, man. It's gonna be so heartbreaking though. It's gonna be so sad.
Yeah, I mean, I can just from my personal experience with when they were when it seemed like they were going to turn on Sammy. I think it was a few months ago when they gave him before they gave him the
The
honorary
honorary
Goose
Usos shirt, yeah,
T-shirt.
bro.
Man, that was tough to watch. Like I felt
Mhm.
it in my gut, and it was just heartbreaking. And so once they actually turn on him, it's gonna be hard to watch, man.
Yeah, dude. He's gonna be like, "My dog, what are you doing?" He's gonna be like, "But I think, dude, I swear, I think that's gonna be the first thing he says. He's gonna be like, Solo, my dog," something like that.
I think he's gonna go. Well, I think what's
Solo's
gonna
gonna be the
happen.
one to hit him,
Yeah, I think it's going to be
or is it
like
gonna be Roman?
nah, it'll be Solo or Jay. But
I
I
think
think
it's
what's
gonna
gonna
be
happen
Solo.
is they're all going to be like they're gonna like surround him, and then he's just gonna be like my dogs. What's
Yeah.
and then he's going to try to hit his handshake with Jimmy, and Jimmy's not gonna do the handshake with him, and then he's just gonna like turn to Solo and just be like Solo, my dog, and then they're probably just going to attack him.
Yeah.
Um, it's gonna be heartbreaking, and I'm not ready for it.
Maybe maybe it'll start with him maybe Kevin Owens will be like about to get eliminated or something, and then like Sammy saves KO, and then the bloodline turns on him right after they see him do that. That could be it.
Well, I think
How do you think it happens? Like, what do
I
you
think
think their reason or do you
I
think they
think
just randomly do it?
No, I think what's gonna happen is that they're all gonna be in the Royal Rumble match. And then I think that they're gonna be like, all right, it's gonna be we're the final four. And once they all enter the match, I think that's sort of where we're gonna get it. And then I don't think they're gonna be the final four, but I think there will be a moment where they are going to turn on Sammy. And then they're going to just like beat the holy hell of him on the outside. And I just don't think they're gonna have KO help him yet, because KO gave that devastating speech to him that I'm just done, man. So I think part of it is going to be Sammy rebuilding his relationship with KO. That's going to lead to the tag match at Mania. I don't think KO is just going to immediately come out and help him. So
No,
I
not
think that
even necessarily that. I'm saying, like, do you think it's going to be a thing where, like, KO's in the Rumble or something, about to get eliminated, and then he, and then, like, Sammy eliminates the person who's eliminating KO, and they, like, look at each other or whatever, and then they just, like, go back to, like, what they were doing, and Sammy just gives them, like, a little, like, and then just, like,
um I don't know. I don't think that that's going to lead to the turn.
Okay.
Um Just because, at least the way that I've been watching
Maybe
it.
Sammy will almost cost Roman the match against KO earlier in the night.
Yeah, because the way that they're teasing it, and at least like the subtitles, um, or the subtext that I've been, like, at least the things that have stuck out to me is that, like, there's like a plan for this. Like, that's you can I feel like
No, yeah,
at least
totally.
I can just tell from the way that they're just like talking to each other with their little backstage segments that, like, they already have a plan in motion
I
to turn
agree.
on Sammy. So that's why I don't think it's going to be like Sammy saves KO and then they turn on him. I don't think it's going to be a reactive thing. I think it's
Gotcha.
going to be all planned, like a planned attack on Sammy. So um just based, like I said, it's just based off of like all of their little promos backstage and everything, that at least like the feeling I've been getting from it is that this is like they have a plan to turn on him. One thing I do feel like they missed out on with the bloodline is that them just being like, yo, Oos, we got the tag titles. Roman got both the universal titles. Where's your title, Sammy? And I feel like that could have been something,
Mhm.
with like Sammy trying to win some sort of belt. I feel like that could have been entertaining. And we talked about it a few months ago. Even just him winning the 24/7 titles. Like, look, Oos, I got my title.
Yeah. I
Um,
really would have loved him winning the SmackDown World Cup and then, like, dancing around with the World Cup, like, that was, like, the little, like, plastic-looking trophy.
yeah.
Just he would just be like this. "Wait, I have mine." He would just be dancing around like that was his title. Just be like he'd be, like, carried around like this and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's gonna be tough to watch, like we said. But what's your final thing that needs to happen at the
yeah,
Royal?
so this needs to be either the last alright. This needs to be the last pay-per-view, um, with this as the current set of titles in WWE. We need title redesigns, and they need to happen. Whether this be the last pay-per-view with the current designs or the first pay-per-view with new ones. Um, we need some redesigns. I'm not saying they all gotta happen at once, but the redesigns of the titles need to start ASAP, and Royal Rumble's the perfect place to start because that's really the start of, kind of the year for um leading up into WrestleMania season. So I think Royal Rumble's the perfect time to do it. There's been rumors of them. There's been rumors of new tag titles. Apparently, black strap, same design, but black straps and silver plates. Um,
The same design. Whoa, I like was kind of correct. The same design as their current titles.
yeah, there's like rumors
What?
of like the same designs, but just with black straps.
And still having 2 separate titles?
I don't think so.
Oh.
And then there would just be one set of tag titles for now, I guess. I don't know.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine
Um,
for now.
they, I feel like they could definitely just I think they could benefit from having one set of tag titles because, um, we talked about it before, but how, like, American Alpha or Alpha Academy, excuse me, was, like, the only tag team on Raw, and then we
Yeah.
finally got the Street Profits back, so, I'm not saying they don't have an abundance of talented tag teams, I'm just saying they don't feature them that much on their weekly shows. So,
Yeah, so
I
if they're
think
not gonna do
having one set
do it.
could be beneficial for them. I hope they don't keep the same design because
Me
those
either. I hope they don't
those
do that.
Spartan tag titles are horrendous, man.
Yeah, dude, they're the worst. But
They suck.
yeah, but like I said, hopefully the redesigns are good and not bad. Because that would suck if we get a newly redesigned title that's just what are your oh god, that was a bad fucking voice crack. That was
Damn,
really
bro, that's
bad.
like 2 in, like, a minute from the
Yeah, I
both
know.
of us. Not a
Yeah,
good look for the brand.
that was really bad. Anyway, what's your thoughts on the IC one? The IC title currently. A lot of people
It's
hate on it.
fine. It's
I
fine.
think it's fine. Yeah,
Um,
I think it gets a little too much hate.
I think it definitely I
I
don't know,
think
like
people love that white title so much that it's just hard because that one's just like so beautiful.
yeah, and I don't know, at least I think when it first got debuted or unveiled, it had a lot of hate. Um,
Yeah,
and since then, it's definitely grown on me. Um,
at least
I
it's
mean,
gold.
it's fine. It's
Yeah.
gold. It's different. It's like we were talking before that, like at least it's not just a giant WWE logo that's like
Mhm.
in your face. It does have some detail on it. I think I'm not saying it's good looking, but I'm saying it's probably one of the better looking titles design wise in WWE,
Yeah, they don't
just
have really
WWE.
any fucking good titles right now, dude. There's so many ugly ass titles right now.
I know. That's what
Sucks.
um so you can read more about it in the article I wrote, but I believe the IC title was the second ranked title based off of design. Um and this was excluding NXT because I was doing just
Gotcha.
WWE. And the US title was first. And I definitely like the US title. That one I think
Yeah,
is
the
pretty
US
good.
title has grown on me a lot. I like
Um
it.
yeah, definitely has grown on me too. I think just based off of like the recent titles that they had, I think you got to go white IC strap. I like the oval one that they had like when we were
I
growing up.
liked that one too.
I
Yeah,
think that
I
one
like.
looks better than the current one.
Oh,
Um,
totally, totally.
but I do, as much as I like the white strap IC title, I do also just feel like it's like almost feels played out now.
Yeah, no, I understand what you
Um,
mean. It definitely. I wanted a redesign too. Once it, I wanted a redesign when they.
I think he's about to. God bless you.
Sorry, but yeah, that's about it. That's about it for us, man.
Yeah, so like we said, there's a lot coming up. We're doing the awards next week, so definitely stay on the lookout for that.
Stay
if
on
you
the
want
lookout.
to if you want to stay up to date with when we release new episodes of the pod, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at The Burnt Hammer on Twitter, again at The Burnt Hammer. On Instagram and TikTok, we are at The Burning Hammer. That is the best way to stay up to date with when we release new episodes. Plus, to get all of your news, rumors, reports, fantasy stuff, anything in the professional wrestling world, make sure to follow us on our social media. You can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Marquizzo_wave. You can follow Dillon on Twitter and Instagram at DillO'Brien_wave. And you can follow Vendetta Sports Media on their socials as well. Me and Dillon, we write for them for professional wrestling. So you can follow them on Twitter at Vendetta VSM. Again, that is Vendetta VSM. And you can follow them on Instagram and TikTok at Vendetta Sports Media. And make sure to check out vendettasportsmedia.com. We are putting together a small writing staff for professional wrestling, but they also cover any and every sport in the world. So make sure to check Vendetta Sports Media for your sports needs. If you are watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Really goes a long way if you do that stuff. If you're watching on the Burning Hammer, head over to Vendetta Sports Media. If you're watching on Vendetta, head over to the Burning Hammer and do the same thing. If you're listening via audio streaming service, make sure to leave us a review and make sure to follow or subscribe so that way the new episode pops up in your library. You don't have to go searching for it. And that's going to wrap it up. In case you're not watching, Dillon put on a Philadelphia Eagles winter knit hat over his headphones. He showed us his Randy Orton lighter, and then he was
Get some entertainment during the advertisements.
Yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up. I'm Mark Izzo, he's Dillon O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. We'll catch you next week.